Hello YouTube friends, welcome back to the channel. It is the middle of February and we are unfortunately running out of split wood. That is the rest of our wood down there. And we have more than a month of cold weather still here to bear, where we'll be running the stove all the time for heat, and then possibly another 2 months off after that where we'll be running it every day to warm it up at least once or twice and to do all of our cooking. And so we do not have enough split wood left to get us to the winter. We have already split all the wood that we could. We have some wood that was too long for us to split. So that's what we're going to work on now. I'm going to get the chainsaw repaired that Patience likes to use. I'm going to get a new chain on it, and we'll have her split some wood in half, or cut it in half, and then we'll split it after that to get some more wood. So let's get going. Alright, so this chain is getting really old. It's one of the chains that I learned how to sharpen with our sharpener, and I didn't do a very good job at first, but I've done a much better job now. If you take a look at it, you can see the links, the chisels are really, really small. You can zoom in on that. So it's time to take this one off and get a brand new one on there, and that way Patience can cut all those logs in half tomorrow, and we'll get to splitting them so we have enough wood to last through most of the rest of the winter. This is a battery operated chainsaw. It's kind of unique. It has this is what tightens it, and this is how this tightens the cap, and then this tightens the chain in and out. So I'm just going to take this all off and take the chain off. As long as the chain is really sharp, this chainsaw does okay battery operated, but as soon as it gets dull, it's not very good at all. Alright, so like I said, if I turn this knob, it'll move the bar in and out. And that way we can take it on and off. You can see things like that one right there are just not going to cut anything now. It's done. This chain is done. I over sharpened it, or used the sharpener on it too much. Not that you can over sharpen a chain, but you can over use the sharpener, which takes off too much material and then it doesn't last as long. So let's hope that I bought the right chain here, and we'll get it back on there. Kind of brittle because it's cold out. Packaging. Alright. Sorry, I got my gloves on, so it's a little bit hard to see what I'm doing. The direction of cut on a chainsaw, I'm sure most of you know, but for those who don't, the cutting edge is always, let me just take off my gloves so I can show. It's just like a bunch of miniature chisels. So this thing right here, underneath my finger, the edge right here is what cuts. And so if you always want the chain to cut, it goes around this way, and it goes around clockwise. For this is the bottom, and you always want to cut pulling towards you on the bottom. So one cuts on one side, it's actually kind of like an upside down chisel, and then the next one cuts the other direction, and they're kind of offset a little bit too. So you get it in the grooves on the bar. You can kind of hold it tight down here at the bottom, and then we'll need to loosen this up. So we're screwing it so that this knob right here goes that way, because that'll let the chainsaw go on, because that knob goes in this hole right here. You can see I fit that nub in the hole, and the chain will go around. Like, I actually got to screw it the other way, so screw it the other way till it gets loose, go the other way, all the way. All right, and now the chain will fit around the drive gear down here. So there's the knob. And we don't have the right chain. So let's grab the other chain. So this is how you know you don't have the right chain. So this is retracted all the way now. And I won't be able to get the chain around the gear here without it hitting the bar. So this is a 55 tooth and I need a 56 tooth. And I have two of those two here. So I'll just swap that out really quick. So we bought these chains a long time ago. And at the time I wasn't even sure if we had bought the right one, but now I know this is the right one. Okay, so again, I make it so that the chisel on each one of these is going to pull towards me on the bottom of the saw, of the bar. If you look, you can see the sharpened, beveled, chiseled part down there. It's like an upside down chisel. And the guides go into the grooves on the bar. And this time when we get down here, we're going to have a little bit more room because it has one extra tooth compared to the other one. So you can see now that the hole is over the nub. And if I turn it now the other way, yeah, there we go. There'll be a gap here. And you can see that there's the gear here isn't touching the bar, so we know this is the right chain for this bar. And then obviously as it turns that, it'll turn the whole chain. So let's put the cover back on. So the cover literally screws into here. And we'll go get a battery and see how it goes. Be right back with that. Okay, so this particular battery operated chainsaw takes a 40-volt battery, which is kind of nice. It's the same battery as we use for our big weed whacker, so we have a couple of batteries and that works out well for us. Slide it in here and turn it on. Sounds a little loose. Let's tighten it up now. So I'll loosen the cover plate and then I'll tighten the chain. And then I'll retighten the cover plate and give it a go again. That sounds a lot better. Actually, it's probably too tight now. Just a smidge. Back it off. We're doing okay. This one has an electric brake on it. Kind of nice. And we'll have to add some oil to it before patients can use it. And then I'll have to check it periodically to make sure it's at the right tension for the blade. Probably still too tight. That was better. Okay. And then we just have to add a little oil in over here, because it's completely out. Alright, so not that it matters to most people, but I just want to give my opinion really quick. Why you would never want to use an electric chainsaw sharpener. And I have one, but I'm not actually going to be using it to sharpen chainsaw blades. I'm going to be using it to sharpen my sawmill blades. And so hopefully that'll be coming up in an episode. But why you would never want to use this over this is because you have to take your chain off of the chainsaw in order to use the electric chainsaw sharpener. And by the time you take your chain off the chainsaw, you could have already sharpened it with one of these. So I recommend using one of these to sharpen it. This is the Steel brand. It actually works really well because it's all in one for both directions. It holds it the right level with these guide bars, and it gets you the right angle, all set just like that. Once you get used to using this, you're good to go. These work very well, okay? They do work very well, but you must take the chain off the chainsaw in order to use them. And by then you are wasting time. And you can't go from this to this and back and forth. You have to choose one or the other as you sharpen the chainsaw, or you will be grinding away more of your chainsaw than you need to sharpen it, because these are not the same shape. This is a round file, and this is a little bit of a rounded file, but it's much more square, and you're going to get a different gullet shape to your gullet. And if you sharpen with this, and the next time you try to sharpen with this on your chainsaw, you're going to be wearing more away of your chain than you need to, and your chain won't last as long. So you need to really choose one or the other. But anyways, this chain should be good to go because it's brand new. When I sharpen it for the first time, I'll have to take a little bit extra off to get it to the shape as this, because the factory manufacturer doesn't actually give it a very good sharpen. It's a sharpened for longevity and long lasting, and not necessarily for sharpness. So the first time's a little rough, but after that it goes really nice. Just one gentle glide over it and everything's sharp. You can do the same thing with this really fast, but again, you have to take the chain off the chainsaw. So I recommend never using these. I'll be very happy when I have a garage to put my tractor in.
Okay, so now that Steve has the chainsaw ready, I can go ahead and start processing this pile of wood behind me. When we originally cut and stacked this wood, we miscalculated and we cut them too long to fit into our firebox. And in fact, they're too long to even fit into splitters. So I need to go through and cut them in half, and then we can split them and use them for firewood. Right now we're down to maybe 2 weeks worth of firewood, and being in Wisconsin and it's February, we're obviously going to need more firewood. So I need to get started working on this pile and get us some more firewood. So let's get started. Okay, so Isaiah has an example of a log that is too long that we need to cut in half. This will not fit in our firebox or our splitter. So we're gonna actually try to build a stand before we get started that will hold these logs in place so that I can chainsaw them in half a little bit easier than trying to do them on the ground or just prop them up somewhere. So Isaiah and I are gonna try to build a stand. So let's get to it. Okay, so the screws are there. The screw gun's here. We're gonna work down here with this. Okay, so this is gonna be the bottom. We're gonna use these as the top, the legs or whatever. Okay. Okay. So grab a screw. Ready to get started?
Here.
So on the other side, push this forward. Pull up this board so that it doesn't move. There you go. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Now down here.
What do you think? Is it gonna work?
Yeah.
You think so? I guess we won't know till we try, right? All right, let's go give it a try. So as we carried it over here, Isaiah decided that it needed a little bit more stability. So he's putting a couple little cross bars on there. So now we'll give it a try. Okay, so without realizing it, we actually ended up making the stand about 16 inches from side to side, which is a perfect length for fitting on the splitter and in our firebox. The splitter is about 18 inches that we can fit, so we figured with the 16-inch guide, that would be a great way to tell whether or not we need to cut a log in half or not. So, did you find one? Alright, so that one is obviously longer than the 16 inches, so we're going to cut that in half and we're going to keep on going. Okay. So then bring yourself after I cut it.
So I came home from work and looks like Patience has got a lot done. I'm pretty impressed. I hope you guys enjoyed watching the video of this. So for now, that's that.